Tonight on To The Point, thousands gathering in Folsom, rallying to see Bernie Sanders and AOC.
Bernie's been doing it for years. We're excited with AOC and her new energy.
Tonight, why the Sacramento suburb is in the spotlight and the protest happening outside the event. Plus, Sacramento police increasing their patrols downtown. Why business owners say it's needed this time of year. Former President Joe Biden returns to the spotlight. Tonight, his warning about Social Security and medication safety. The new study raising concerns suggesting why all generic drugs are not created equal. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. Tonight, thousands of people are packing Folsom Lake College's field for a rally with Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This is a live look at the event. I'm told AOC just took the stage. You can see her speaking there. It kicked off about 30 minutes ago. The rally is part of Sanders' Fighting Oligarchy tour. Most of the events are being held in congressional districts represented by Republicans. Sanders says the tour's purpose is to have discussions on how to take on oligarchs and corporate interests who have power and influence in the country. But I want to get to ABC 10's Luke Clary, who is live at this event. Luke, we know that you've been watching this crowd stream in all day, but talk about what the energy has really been like out there.
Well, first of all, Alex, I'm just learning that from you that AOC hit the stage. We heard the cheers out here, so we knew that something was going on. But meanwhile, here outside the gates, this crowd of people that has been filtering in has been coming nonstop since about 3 this afternoon. There were people lined up here since 6 o'clock in the morning. And for the first time, I'm starting to think that maybe there are going to be some capacity issues. Volunteers at the front door are asking people to stop bringing in their chairs. I believe there just isn't enough space. Earlier today, we saw people zigzagging their way into the Folsom Athletic Complex, and they're really just here to see 2 of the Democratic Party's biggest names, and that means lots of energy, lots of people, and of course, lots of traffic. The city of Folsom is urging drivers to plan ahead. Are you expecting a big headache getting out of here?
Probably, but it's worth it. I don't care. We just wanted to make sure we got here in time, and whatever happens afterwards, if we have to sit in our car for a couple hours, that's okay.
And I have a feeling that more than a few people will be sitting in their car for a couple of hours on their way out of here. With closures on Scholar Way and Cavett Drive right now, College Parkway is the only way into the Folsom Lake College campus, but people are urged to take alternative roads around here to try to avoid some of these big crowds. Earlier today, organizers told me that they were expecting something like 10,000 people here, but I had a conversation with an officer nearby who said that he counted, just eyeballing it, at least 25,000, and I would even dare to say it will be more than that when the final tally is verified. I've been speaking with a spokesperson with Senator Bernie Sanders who says that they'll try to get that number to us. But again, as you can see, this crowd is still making its way inside pretty much nonstop since 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll see what the final number ends up being. Alex, reporting live here in Folsom, Luke Clary, ABC 10.
All right, Luke, thank you so much. And we also know that protests are happening outside tonight's event. ABC 10 was outside where people have been waving flags and holding signs in support of President Donald Trump. Other signs were calling for the recall of Governor Gavin Newsom. As Senator Sanders and AOC continue this cross-country tour, how much of a difference can it really make, and why should voters even care at all? ABC 10's Becca Hobbeger set out to answer just those questions and joins us in studio now.
Yeah, Alex, both Senator Sanders and Representative Ocasio-Cortez are known as outspoken progressives. Now, that's something some Democratic voters are hungry for after suffering major losses in November and watching the actions of the Trump administration so far. But is this visit to Folsom today just more than a pep talk for the party? I asked a political analyst.
They want to, I believe, re-energize Democrats who are pretty down in the mouth these days.
ABC 10 sat down with political analyst Steve Swat to discuss Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' Fighting Oligarchy tour, joined by New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I asked him about their use of the term oligarchy.
An oligarchy generally is a cadre of extremely wealthy individuals who have undue influence in a government. In terms of the United States, using the term oligarchy is that you have all these wealthy billionaires who are close to another billionaire, President Trump.
Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez cite people like Elon Musk, one of Trump's senior advisors, plus Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, the world's 3 richest people, according to Forbes.
Today in America, 3 people, Musk, Bezos, and Zuckerberg, combined own more wealth than the bottom half of American society, 170 million people.
In a YouTube video posted Saturday, Sanders drove home his point about income inequality.
In the richest country in the history of the world, which we are today, 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck.
With his Fighting Oligarchy tour, Sanders has taken that message to cities across the U.S. the past 2 months, including Salt Lake City, Tempe, and Tucson, Arizona, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, even the Coachella Music Festival this past weekend.
Use their prominence to fight for women's rights.
Some more liberal areas, others more conservative. SWAT says with midterm elections in 2026, Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez might also be trying to appeal to disaffected moderates or Republicans.
They've gone to Greeley, Colorado, and from what I understand, the Republican members of Congress in that area have stopped having town halls, and so they can use that as an example of Republicans don't want to listen to you anymore, and so maybe take advantage of that.
The tour stop in our area was originally planned for the Gold Country Fairgrounds in Auburn, but moved to Folsom Lake College, both spots in Republican U.S. Representative Kevin Kiley's district. He said earlier this month on X he'd be happy to debate either socialist while they're in town, and that he'd invite them to tour the state and see what it looks like when their utopian vision becomes a reality. They'll learn California leads the nation in poverty, inequality, achievement gaps, unemployment, and wage stagnation. ABC 10 asked for an interview with Congressman Kiley today. A spokesperson said he already had 6 interviews lined up and scheduled one with us for 6:45 p.m. So right now I'm going to go talk with Kiley via Zoom, and you can hear directly from him tonight on Late News Tonight at 11. Alex?
All right, and to learn more about Sanders and AOC's event and to listen to their rally speeches, you can stream the event on the ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. It is completely free to download to your TV. Shocking new video tonight shows several people being detained at Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's town hall in Georgia. Less than 5 minutes after the town hall began, at least 3 people were removed. One man was even tased after he was tackled, dragged out by police officers, and then tried to get back inside. We know that scenes like this have overtaken town halls in recent months, with many concerned about cuts to the federal workforce and Elon Musk's influence in the Trump administration. Former President Joe Biden returned to the national stage today with a very clear message. President Trump's agenda is threatening the health of Social Security. While speaking in Chicago just hours ago, Biden says the Trump administration has taken a hatchet to the program.
Fewer than 100 days, this new administration has made done so much damage and so much destruction. They've taken a hatchet to the Social Security Administration, pushing an additional 7,000 employees, 7,000 out the door in that time.
About 6.3 million Californians receive Social Security benefits, more than any other state in the nation. Today, U.S. Senator Alex Padilla, along with 20 other senators, sent a letter to the Trump administration and the Department of Government Efficiency asking them to stop their attacks on Social Security. Still ahead, on To the Point, why Sacramento police are increasing their patrols downtown.
We had some showers and thunderstorms in the high country this afternoon, and I'm expecting another day tomorrow with storms in the Sierra. We'll look at Futurecast after the break.
Plus, President Trump says he wants to deport American citizens convicted of crimes. Can it be done? The legal battle ahead. Let's get over to meteorologist Brendan Minchef now. Brendan, we know there's a little cooler from yesterday, right?
Yeah, quite a bit cooler than yesterday. We made it to 89 downtown Sacramento yesterday. It's the warmest day of the year so far. Today, We only made it to 73 degrees, which is perfectly average for the time of year, but that is 16 degrees cooler than yesterday afternoon. Again, 73 was the high temperature in Sacramento today, 74 Stockton, 74 Modesto, 60s in the foothills, 62 in South Lake Tahoe, 70 in Truckee. But look, in the valley, exactly where we should be for the time of year. It was still quite warm in the Sierra, though 9 degrees warmer than normal in South Lake Tahoe. Temperatures at this hour mainly in the 60s across most of the valley, though there's a little bit of a delta breeze that's helping to cool us off. The upper valley, which doesn't really see that delta breeze, still sitting a little bit warmer. River Cat's first pitch in just a few minutes. If you're off to the ball game, it's going to be good weather, 60 degrees by 8 o'clock, 57 degrees towards the end of the game. I do expect clouds to return as we go through the overnight hours. We're going to start off mild and cloudy Wednesday morning, 51 Sacramento, 50 in Stockton, 51 Modesto, 40s and 50s in the foothills. Tomorrow afternoon, it's another cool day, 72 Sacramento, 73 Stockton, and 73 down in Modesto. But we're also going to see showers and thunderstorms in the high country once again. Once we get towards about 1 o'clock, right along the crest, we'll start to see those showers pop up, and through the mid to late afternoon, we'll see those isolated thunderstorms once again. So in the foothills tomorrow, an isolated storm not out of the question. The Sierra, the next couple of days, still looking at rain and thunder opportunities, but we dry out and warm up headed into the Easter weekend all across Northern California. I've got 80 degrees for Easter in the valley.
Next on To The Point, President Trump says he wants to deport American citizens convicted of crimes. Where he wants to send them as experts weigh the legality of the plan. And Sacramento police are increasing patrols in downtown, why business owners say it's needed. Tonight, Sacramento police are taking a proactive approach to keeping downtown residents and businesses safe by increasing patrols. Businesses in Old Sacramento and downtown say it's much needed with more and more people visiting each year. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has the details.
In Old Sacramento, the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory has seen its fair share of visitors in the 41 years it's been here.
I have been the owner for the past year, and in that year I've noticed that crime seems to be an issue when the heat gets warmer and when the sun goes down. So usually at nighttime, lots of fights break out, lots of teenagers and young kids.
Jessica Feuerbach says the area is known for being a family-oriented place. And it's unfortunate to see incidents like the one this weekend where 2 people were injured in a shooting on K Street near the tunnel between Old Sacramento and Doco Saturday night. Con Azúcar Café, a newer business, is located in Doco.
Obviously, it does put us a little bit more on the high alert side, and obviously me having a lot more female employees and just the safety, not just my employees, but my customers as well.
On Tuesday, we let both businesses know of a plan Sacramento police have to increase patrols in the area. The department says this comes with spring break, warmer weather, and more people enjoying downtown.
We can't predict crime before it happens, and so sometimes we are reactive, but when we do events like this where we're bringing out more officers, our goal is to stop it from happening, 1, to begin with, and then 2, being able to quickly respond when it does happen.
Sergeant Anthony Gamble says the extra patrols happened to fall in coincidence with the shooting over the weekend, but Con Azúcar Café says they feel police presence is always needed, especially in areas like downtown. And they appreciate it when officers stop by in the mornings to check on them.
I think specifically in this area, we're trying to elevate the touristness. I think this is going to be something good for the downtown area to increase the safety side.
The other hope is that locals will feel safer also coming to the area.
And you'll see online comments of people saying like, oh, that's why I don't go to Old Sac after dark, or I don't go to Old Sac anymore, and it's a lot of tourism. But I feel like they're missing out.
In Sacramento, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Tonight, President Donald Trump says that he wants to deport American citizens convicted of crimes. He says it will help the prison population in the United States and save the country money. But there are massive questions about whether it's even legal. Here's Perry Russum with the details.
In a new court filing today, the lawyers for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man wrongfully deported to a notorious jail in El Salvador, argue the U.S. government should at least be required to request his release. Adding, to date, the government has not done so.
We're very confident that every action taken by this administration is within the confines of the law, and we continue to comply with the court's orders.
Even after the Supreme Court unanimously ruled the U.S. government must facilitate his return, calling his removal illegal, Attorney General Pam Bondi claims it's not up to the U.S.
That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us.
Abrego Garcia is a migrant from El Salvador living in Maryland. The government claims he's a member of MS-13. A federal judge says the government has shown no evidence in court of that being true. El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele says he will not send Abrego Garcia back.
Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
Abrego Garcia has no criminal record here or in El Salvador. His lawyer on ABC News Live.
We're not asking anybody to do anything illegal. We're asking them to follow the law.
Republican Senator Chuck Grassley holding a heated town hall in Iowa. Frustrated constituents pressing the senator on Abrego Garcia's lack of due process.
These people have been sentenced to life imprisonment in a foreign country with no due process. Our government cannot do anything.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says the Supreme Court must enforce its order aggressively, which he says should include contempt. Perry Russom, ABC News, Washington.
Tonight, President Trump is threatening to pull Harvard's tax-exempt status, suggesting it should be taxed as a political entity. The administration already freezing more than $2 billion in federal grant money after Harvard rejected a list of government demands, including overhauling hiring and admission practices.
What the university has said is, we're going to stand on our principle and our legal rights.
The Trump administration ordering the school to report foreign students who commit conduct violations to federal authorities, submit to an audit to ensure academic departments have diverse viewpoints, and all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs share hiring data with the administration and submit to an audit of admissions data. The White House is also calling for correction of what it calls anti-Semitism on campus, an issue Harvard says it already addressed. Harvard's president writing in a letter, no government, regardless of which party is in power, should dictate what private universities can teach, whom they can admit and hire, and which areas of study and inquiry they can pursue. The Trump administration has also paused more than $1 billion in federal funding to Cornell and $790 million to Northwestern due to investigations into alleged civil rights violations. Next, on To the Point, how a new study is revealing where your medication is made and how it could impact your health. We'll have the details after the break. When you get a generic medication, you likely have no idea where it's made, but a new study found that location could be important and could impact the drug's quality. Allison Gormley explains.
When you're out shopping, you see labels showing where the product is made. But look at your generic medication, and there's a good chance the made in line is missing.
You just have to take it and trust it.
George Ball with the Kelley School of Business said this detail is important because the country in which the drug is made can impact its quality, according to a new study he co-authored.
Outcome variable in the study was adverse events.
In it, he and his team compared generics made in advanced economies, including the U.S., to generics made in emerging economies, including India. Those two countries represent a majority of the manufacturing in their study.
You are more likely to have hospitalization or a serious health problem due to an adverse event from taking a drug if that drug was made, if it's an older drug made in India compared to the exact same drug made in the United States.
The sample compared generics on the market for 8 years or longer, one set from an emerging economy and the exact same set from an advanced economy. The number of severe adverse events for the generics produced in an emerging economy was 54% higher.
If every bottle had a country and a quality rating, the market would reward both domestic manufacturer and high-quality manufacturers.
Otherwise, it's just cost dictating sales. If the FDA wants to visit a U.S. drug maker, Ball said they can show up unannounced. For drug makers outside of the U.S., it's a different scenario.
Because of diplomatic reasons, travel reasons, and other reasons, they give weeks or months advance notice.
While he acknowledges that there is little consumers can do right now, there is some action.
And talk to their congressmen and congresswomen, because in the end, it's probably going to have to come down to a change in FDA policy or law.
leveling the marketplace for the everyday consumer.
That is our show. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.